Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Talking Busch. I'm your host, Dave Pikus. We are in our South Minneapolis studio, coming to you live. At the table tonight, we have the commish, Matty Train. Matty, how you doing tonight?
Ooh, the week before, the night that football starts for the season, it's a great night.
So good, so good. NFL's back tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We have Atlanta playing against Super Bowl champion Eagles. At home, dropping banners.
Fucking Eagles, man.
Also at the table tonight, we have back from his European vacation. He's alive. He made it. The terrorists didn't get him.
They sure didn't.
Derek Hartman. Derek, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And coming to us alive from his Painesville, Minnesota studios, he is a new dad. He's looking pretty rad. He's drinking that Monster because he doesn't get any sleep at night. Tomorrow it's going to be windy, so he's going to fly a kite. Johnny Thompson, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be back.
Congratulations from all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Woo!
How are things going?
Things are going good.
Yeah?
Pretty much crying, eating, sleeping
Love it.
24/7.
Love it,
But
love it, love
I
it.
wouldn't have it any other way, as I'm sure the other dads in the room / listening over the interwebs would agree.
Well, great. Well, we're glad that you could take some time out of parenting now to host the podcast tonight with us. Should be a good one.
I wouldn't miss it. I respect the segment. I wouldn't miss it.
Dedication.
Good.
Attaboy.
That's true. I even told the wife. I said, if you want me to bring her down in the little crib and set her next to me, I will do it. She said no, that was unnecessary. But
Good.
I respect the segment.
Attaboy.
Good to hear. Well, let's dive on in. We're going to start out with some Gopher football recap. I think you guys were both kind of wrong on your predictions. Matt,
Yep, I was.
you were very wrong.
I don't think I was.
I don't think you said over 30 points, John.
Yes, I
Yeah, you
did.
did.
Because remember, Matt?
Yeah.
Come on, man. I did too.
I was
Bring it up.
I was
Bring it up right
closest.
now.
Yes, it wasn't quite as high as yours, I don't think, but it was not close to mine.
I said 34-10. Ended up being 48-10.
Yep.
Feel pretty good about it.
Mm-hmm.
I have extra text messages proving it to Derek.
You do? I think you actually modified it and said 38-10.
Oh, well, there we go. See, I knew that we were going to come out. We were going to score. Tyler Johnson's looking like a stud. Antoine Winfield Jr. with his pinball return. SportsCenter top 10, number 1.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Really great. All around, student section was very full, loud, fun, active. I left with 9 minutes left in the game because we had it kind of down. And student section was walking out in front of me chanting, "Who hates Iowa?"
Yeah.
And that's probably the best thing in the world.
For what? Come on.
Huh? We hate Iowa,
Get a
John.
new slogan.
All right. Well,
Which, by the way, didn't they look good on Saturday?
don't know.
No clue.
They
Who?
did. Let me just tell you that much.
I, of course, was up in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, Warwick, Minnesota, watched the end of the Bison game in a bar that had a drive-through window that they served cocktails out the window.
Nice. Good old
Doesn't
North
seem
Dakota.
right.
Guy rolled in, opened up. He ordered a rum and coke and some fruity girly drink, and they mixed it up for him. Boom, got it, drove away.
Nice.
Phenomenal.
Customer service, right?
We also bought some ice from the guy. I tipped him a couple bucks when we got our first beers, and my dad tipped him for the ice, and he gave us some free road beers to go. Opened up the Bud Lights for the car ride home.
Classy.
So
Awesome.
phenomenal. 2.5 days of fishing on Devil's Lake. 127 walleyes for John and Dave.
Oh, good.
Jesus.
127.
127 walleyes in 2.5 days of fishing. So
Just slaying.
Yeah.
we had a real good time. Brought home limits every night for dinner and some to take home. So real good weekend. Derek, you got we'll call it 30 seconds to give us your recap of your trip to Europe.
Sure. I had an awesome time.
Wonderful.
I really liked Amsterdam. Great city. Really like Brussels. Great city. Did not love Paris.
Shocking.
It
Smart man
was
there.
real big and dirty,
Mm-hmm.
smelly, and besides for the monuments that they're famous for,
Did you see any of the new outdoor urinals?
I did not, but I had read about them before
Amsterdam has tons of them. I don't know what the new outdoor is, but within the last few years that I'm there, it's like a wraparound piece of steel, no door or anything, and then it's just a hole in the sidewalk.
Oh, these are not like that. These look like a urinal
I went. Yes, this
that
is
you just walk up to and take a piss
Yep.
in.
no.
Nothing around
Yeah,
you.
nothing around.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, just hanging it out there.
Couple banks. There's like a tripod of them.
So the contents of the urinal just like stinking up the surroundings, or what?
I think it just goes into like the
Gross.
sewer.
Oh,
It-
just goes
and then
straight
it
The
runs
off.
through
idea
the
is,
water.
yeah,
It's like a real urinal.
That it won't stink up the surroundings.
Yeah.
So you're not just pissing on the road, because
Yeah.
that's a thing in Paris, I've learned.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I met
Here's the real question: did you carve up any ice with your crank?
no. I did
Well,
not
that's
carve
unfortunate.
ice. I also haven't heard that phrase before.
What does that mean?
It pretty much means did Derek have relations with a female or male, depending on how his night was going.
Hey, however you roll, man. We don't hate.
Okay.
I think we all know how I roll.
Touche.
Dirty. You definitely ride dirty.
Touche.
I mean, we're not mad trained, but get it.
But yeah, great time.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to have you back. Now we can roll into the fall and some big things coming.
Away we go.
Mhm.
Wayne, how was your weekend?
Weekend was pretty good. State Fair Friday. Beat the rush. Took the day off. Long weekend. Some nice weather. Rain helped the yard out. It's a nice little weekend, Dave.
Sounds
It's a nice little weekend.
sounds phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, let's get into some good hard-nosed talk here. John, I have a would you rather. That
Okay.
pretty important one. You know, football season's upon us. Would you rather be bald or get your period once a month like a lady?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't know. I think I have really nice hair. I don't know if you can see this or not. I have some good flow going in the back here, and it kind of makes the ladies hot in the pants, if you know what I mean. So I think I would probably be able to. I think I would probably go ahead and take the PMS and the cramps. They have drugs for that, so I'd
Wow.
do that.
Yeah. Wow, indeed.
Strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, I like my hair.
All right.
Huh.
Anybody have a rebuttal on that, or what do you think, boys? I am 100%
Yeah,
going bald.
I would go
I'd-
bald.
I'd be bald like a
I
baby's
would
Yeah.
for
ass.
sure. Not even close.
All right. Well, John, thanks for thinking outside the
Yeah.
box. Okay, let's get
Anything
into.
else I would rather do than be bald? You know, I'd rather smash my crank with a hammer, or
What
Wow.
else?
What else would you do?
I would rather pour honey down my pants and let fire ants
Okay.
go ravage my crotch.
Wow.
Then yeah.
All right. John, did you hear that Rochester, Minnesota is the best college town in Minnesota?
What?
Yes.
No. Absolutely not. That's
Survey
erroneous.
says.
Survey
That can't be
says,
right.
Clickbait.
review.com
Clickbait.
says that Rochester, Minnesota is the best, party hard at college school. It's got the best student population, rental costs, education rates, transportation access, unemployment, and bar availability.
I want to know where they're doing their case study at, because as a professional, back in the day, of course, you know, I'm a responsible dad now, so I don't do that anymore. But back in the day, as a professional college town barfly visiting you fellas, I would tend to say that there's better college towns than Rochester, Minnesota.
All right.
For example, I believe Matt Train went to MSU, Minnesota State University Mankato. That gets pretty wild down there. Dave, St. John's, oh, good for you. Sal's gets kind of wild on a Thursday night.
You've never seen it. Matt Train just disappeared his one night at the Sal's B&G. And then he came back and he hid breakfast sandwiches in the parking lot because he didn't know if the gas station was going to be open at bar close.
See? Just a great time.
Just underneath a car tire. Hey, I got to pick up a couple sandwiches. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, even Moorhead, well, tie Fargo in there a little bit, but, I mean, even that was, I figured, way more fun.
I mean, Duluth,
I mean, even as shitty as St. Cloud is, I thought that was way more fun. I would think that would be way more fun than Rochester.
So John, you being the neutral bystander here, because obviously we all have biases. If you were gonna call your number one town, what would it be?
Oh man, that's a good question. Some of it I can't remember, but the stuff I can remember was pretty GD fun. God, I had a lot of fun in Moorhead, and the times I was down in Mankato was pretty freaking awesome too. I'm not gonna say St. Cloud because that was like going down the street because it was just so close. So I'm gonna rule that one out. It was fun, but
all right,
when you
give us the answer.
So okay, sorry. I am actually gonna go with. God, Mankato was fun.
Yeah, buddy.
Mankato was fun.
Yeah, buddy.
Wayne?
But Moorhead, and I would say St. Joe, close second, third. I got some stories about Moorhead, man. That would blow your mind.
Good to hear.
Blow your mind.
Yeah. I think for me a lot of it depends on what you're into. I mean, St. John's had a much different vibe than Mankato.
Right.
And you could say that that's more of a college town because St. Joe is only Collegeville is a town.
Correct.
Just where the college is.
Yep.
Right. So everything revolves around that. Now Mankato is heavily influenced by the college, but a lot of people that live there don't go to the college. You don't have the sense of attachment to your class or anything like that. But the bars down at Mankato get pretty freaking wild sometimes.
Yeah, man. When it was the haze, holy gods, man. That was just like,
I mean,
get sweaty, take your shirt off, and just dance with whoever's by you. It doesn't matter. Just go for it.
Yeah. And Mankato's not a big school, but you go into the bar scene in Mankato, I mean, there's not a lack of strange running around.
No,
you know?
and as crazy as it sounds, like, yeah, the
Slate,
haze was great, and what was the other one?
Blue
Matt?
Bricks, everywhere.
Blue Bricks is
Yeah.
probably your
Blue
go-to.
Bricks,
Rounders
Mettlers.
is the crazy one.
Yep.
You know the
throw
bar
in the
that I
Mettlers.
dug the
Can't
most,
forget
that just was my jam every time we went there was South Street.
Yeah.
I fucking love that place,
A lot
man.
of good bars
It's
on
just
that
so
street.
dirty and grungy.
Mhm.
It was my jam.
Well, you're
Easily.
kind of a dirty, grungy guy, so we understand
I
that.
am. I mean, my favorite bar back home is a little known establishment. We've all been there, minus Derek. It's called Duche's. That's my jam. That's my place.
Decent little spot.
You could take me to your douchey bar anytime.
I would gladly take you there. Gladly.
San Martin. We brought it up
San
last
Martin.
week.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did ya?
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I think Matt, you probably agree. Mankato's got a pretty good bar scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw Duluth pretty high up in there.
Yep.
Cold
It's
as
a
fuck
great town.
city, but
Yep.
the people when they drink in that town, it's on like Donkey Kong. I mean,
Right.
one night we saw, I think you all were there. We had the two side-by-side bouncers at Grandma's Sports Garden. One of them was like 6'6", maybe 290. Other one, 4'7", probably 115, 120. He was standing on top of a skee ball machine arms flexed. I'll never forget that. So real good time. They got a nice jazz club up in Duluth as well. It's a jazz club till about 8 o'clock. Then turns into a nice rip club. So phenomenal. Stay all afternoon. Get your jazz flute. Then get some titties in your face. Real great time. But what are we doing talking about yesteryear in college when we got fucking football starting real soon here?
Yes, we
That's true, but God, were those fun. We could seriously do like a whole segment on that stuff.
Did you guys see
my
the,
gosh.
this?
And even when you guys were doing
my mic
your
on?
internships and things of that nature, when you guys lived in St. Paul, God, that was fun too. I mean, we didn't go out as much, but even when we did, damn, that has to be more fun than Rochester, Minnesota. No,
Winona, honorable mention.
Yeah, when I was in
yeah,
town.
yeah, I'll give you that. I love Rochester. It's a nice town, but
Okay.
Oh, it's not a college town. They don't even have a college.
Yeah, they got JUCO, don't they?
yeah, they got
have
Rochester.
they have a junior
Yeah, it's
college.
RTC.
Yeah. They almost won a fucking
RCTC.
football champion. They almost won a
They did. I think they lost. They got second. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
They talk
They're really
about
good
them
every
on.
year.
Community
Last chance you.
college.
Don't
No,
hate on community college.
No big deal when I used to strap up the cleats and buckle the chin strap. My career against RTC is 0-2. 0-2. They were tough.
How many yards do you have?
Tough. I actually, because they were so tough, I just kind of hung out on the sideline.
0 catches for 0 yards.
Yep, zero.
0 targets.
I had zero stats against Rochester.
John, come on, you're better than that.
I know it.
They have produced several Gophers.
I know.
Still not a college.
Correct. All right, let's keep it rolling then on the college since you guys want to sit there. Gophers got Fresno State this weekend. Another night game. I don't think we play before 11 a.m. all season
All
so
season.
far. I think looking at the games going forward, if we're competitive, they'll move. All of their games are going to be after the hour of noon, which is badass. Fresno State put up 77 last week. 79, sorry. Crushed it. I think we'll be able to slow them down. Our defense looked really well. If we stay healthy, we're going to win more games than what everybody thought. Zach Anixted looked pretty good, poised. Gets a fucking call from Baker Mayfield before the game to wish him luck. Love that. They've touted this fucking 52% number about 7 times on the broadcast that were 52% freshmen.
Right.
I think that really mattered when the guys that we were getting were kind of the Jerry Kill, we'll coach him up era. Now that we're getting people who can play, it's going to work out a little bit better for us, and they have the ability to come on and make big plays right away.
It still matters. I mean, an 18-year-old versus a 23-year-old fifth-year senior still matters.
I don't know. They grow 'em big down south, and that's where we're pulling guys from, and from the beautiful state of Ohio and Illinois. So, I think it's going to be all right until somebody gets hurt, and we're going to open up the playbook a little bit more this week. John.
Yeah.
Seth Green
Hello.
is now the Wildcat quarterback for your Gophers.
Just another wrinkle, man. That's a perfect package for him. He's huge. What is he, 6'4", 250?
240.
240?
Yep. We talked about him on the program last week about his ability to catch the ball.
Yep.
And coming out of kind of that. He played more wide out than slot last week. I have no coils with him coming in and
Finishing off drives.
yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, that first red zone visit, they didn't stall out, but it looked like I don't remember the plays, but like handoff to Rodney Smith, tried something with Anixted, and then the next play Seth Green came in, they scored right away, and then
Well, they ran a
just
read
kinda-
option and he
Oh
kept
yeah,
the ball
okay,
and
yeah.
just ran.
So to me, that is going to be their go-to red zone package. Like if things just stall out, just go right to that, because that kid is huge and he's going to take the rock into the end zone every time, it seems like. So that was very cool to see, because he's been so highly touted and just nothing has flourished for him. So it's good to see him get on the field and make something happen.
I mean, I think he's going to be in the goal line packages 100% of the time now.
I do too.
And he'll either be at receiver or at quarterback.
Yep.
Just
well, yeah, especially being 6'4", yeah, just
I mean,
in the words of Randy Moss, just throw it up, dog.
Defenses
I'll go
now
get
that
it.
they've seen.
Yeah, he can box guys
footage.
out. It's
Yeah. So they're going to have to be prepared for that Wildcat, be prepared for just a normal formation.
Yep. PJ kind of alluded to it on his WCCO interview on Sunday morning, that there's going to be some more wrinkles, and they're going to allow him to throw the ball out of that package too.
Okay.
So we got a lot of shit going for us in
Did
the goal line.
Did he mention Antoine playing a little offense?
He did. Wrinkles will be
Really?
coming, but he also said that we don't want to show all of our cards these first few games. We're going to keep it
Right.
simple and just get victories. But we got a little offense. We do. Tyler
It's
Johnson is
refreshing.
explosive as fuck. He's got Randy Moss syndrome.
He was last year in the first few games too, though.
Well, they
That's-
started covering him differently. Doubling up, rolling a safety over. They were doing that this game too.
We'll see.
But what I'm getting at, on the plays that he's involved, he goes 100% the whole time. On the plays he's not involved, he Randy Mosses the shit out of it. It's pretty
awesome.
interesting to watch. Take a look this week.
Other
Other than that-
PJ lets him get away with that.
Big week, 6:30 start this week. So tailgating for all of those doing it starts at 12:30. Probably want to get in line about 11:45 if you want a spot. Last week it looked like the lines were getting kind of long early. A lot of fun. They still got some roads screwed up, so they had to move some people, and they created a new
Awesome.
tailgating lot over by the hospital that looked kind of fun when we drove by in the Uber. So
Really?
that was.
They did something right?
They did something. Well, these were moved people from the West Bank, that tailgate the West Bank,
Sure.
and people that tailgate at the St. Paul, and they allowed them to come into this spot.
Okay.
Hard to get to, I heard, but once you were in there, it's just a big open lot,
That
and you
school
get to watch
just does
everybody
not
walk by.
understand tailgating or fun or anything.
They're working on it.
Oh, good for me moment. I'll be in the tunnel this week.
Derek's in the tunnel. That's going
I
to be
want
great.
Snapchats up the ass.
I don't think we're Snapchat friends, bud.
Are we not? How are we not?
I don't know.
You
We'll
haven't
have to
gotten a
fix that.
John dick pic yet?
Oh my gosh, you haven't lived until you've gotten one of those.
It's like 1.5 per day.
I can't. Train pretty much blocked me because I just send him one every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Just pissing at the
"Hey,
bar."
Good luck golfing today. Here's the big wood.
Love it.
Oh,
Well,
shit.
enough talking about college football, Derek. We're looking for snaps. We can't
Sorry,
wait for a
can I
full
just-
recap.
Can I bring one thing up? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just
absolutely.
looking at the game notes. Record watch. Rodney Smith is set to be the fourth Gopher all time to reach the 3,000 yards in a career. He is at 2,958. If my math is correct, he's about 42 yards
Can
away
we try
from
to
that
guess
record.
the other three?
So, ahead of him,
No.
the
Nope.
great Daryl
Dad.
Thompson,
Daryl Thompson.
the great Chris Darkins, and the
We were going to guess this. Let us guess this
the
last
power-
one.
The powerhouse Marion
Ja-
Barber.
Oh my
John,
God!
can you
Did
hear
not
us?
hear us?
No,
Oh,
Oh,
what happened?
we're trying.
we were
to,
trying to guess
We
him.
were saying let's guess, and then you just kept talking.
Oh, sorry.
He's just
Okay,
in the
hey,
zone. He's just in the
Hey,
zone.
hey, here's a fun one. Let's do career rushing touchdowns. You don't have to know the touchdowns, but I'll tell you this: Rodney is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th on the list. Can you name the other 5 ahead of him?
Well, Daryl has to be on there.
Daryl Thompson.
Number 1.
I'm gonna guess Marion Barber finds his way on that list.
Nope.
Hmm.
Our Heisman winner from Faribault.
Bruce Smith?
Nope.
Sandy Stevens?
Mike Allstott.
I think I don't know why they would have did that.
Barry
They have
Sanders.
Daryl Tom. I think they shortened the list. That can't be right. You guys might be. I'll have to look
Come on,
look
meet
that
us.
up. But Rodney is trailing Lawrence Maroney, Ricky Foggy, Thomas Tapp, and Herb Josting.
Oh yeah, old Herbie.
Yeah, old Herbie.
Old HJ?
And
Can't believe I forgot him.
Yeah.
And I would be I'm guessing probably Bruce Smith because it goes 1 and then just jumps directly to 5. So I'm guessing Bruce Smith's on there. I'm sure Barber, maybe even another name I haven't heard in a long time. Thomas Hamner. You guys remember that guy?
No.
Mm-mm.
Hey,
Yeah.
thanks Todd McShay for this history lesson.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to Sundays
we
now.
we should do this every week. I like this.
John,
We're gonna
John,
do
who
this
played
every week.
quarterback with Thomas Hamner?
Like the funny part is this list or these lists. These
Yeah,
guys
Mike
played
Worthy.
when I was in high school, and that's how bad the
How
program
have we
was for all
gotten
those
this
years.
far? He
Is
just
these guys
doesn't
are in
know
the
what's
top
going on.
5.
We just talk and he doesn't know.
He has no clue.
Well, you know what? I would know if you had a freaking camera set up so I could see you guys.
It's okay. John's referring to our studio setup here, where we're sitting at the table, as you can see, and John is on a big screen right here, and we can see him, but he can't see us. So we'll get that squared away so he doesn't interrupt us the whole time.
I
But
don't know what seeing has to do with listening.
Yeah, he just is not paying attention.
Because then you could like wave your hand like, hey, I want to say something, or hey, shut the hell up.
we'll work on some sort of buzzer system.
Good God. You know, just because the guy isn't in studio, just handicap him, make him look like the idiot.
You're gonna have to listen back to the last 5 minutes of this podcast just to see what was going on.
Yeah.
Because you missed a lot. Of
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
It's gonna all be new to me.
now you're gonna stop, and we're gonna move on to Sunday football, and we're gonna talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Our local boy Brandon Zylstra made the 53.
Yes, he did.
He is listed as the number 5
Mm-hmm.
All right.
wide receiver for the boys. They're thinking that he's actually going to get some routes and game reps right away. So that's going to be kind of fun to watch. Star Trib did a pretty good story on him and Adam Essler yesterday. Obviously, Adam Essler, New and Spicer grad as well.
Where did he go to college, Dave?
He went to the St. John's University in Collegeville, Minnesota.
Ah.
But
Oh, good for you.
great.
Oh, good
Yeah, there
for
it is.
you.
Great story about them growing up. Played on that state championship team together. So, real good time, real good story. Take a minute and read about it if you want to.
Cool story, Hansel. Thanks a
I
lot.
appreciate the shout out by Adam Essler to the older Wildcat football players mentioning how terrible we were. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Well, it's pretty true.
It's very true, and that's why I thought it was so great because he's not wrong.
Okay. Now I want to read it.
It's premium content.
Oh,
You gotta pay for that shit.
Shit.
All right. So, as everybody saw in the Busch League, I was putting on my superhero cap and cape yesterday. Picked up Brandon Zylstra, so Adam Hartman did not pick him up because we were afraid that he would do some weird things to him, both in real life and in fantasy, because he doesn't know where to draw that line. So, big props to me. Round of applause.
And you
Pretty
kicked
much
that,
the hero.
You kicked that dirty Packer, Geronimo Allison, to the curb too. So
I did.
Double whammy.
Booyah.
We're gonna catch Adam in like a police blotter that he was sitting in Zylstra's townhouse bushes, staring at him through the window,
Goddamn right.
breathing heavily.
Oh, belt around his neck, just jerking himself off. Oh, Brandon Zylstra.
Well, Lakes and football, baby.
All right. Well,
Moving on.
Let's talk Vikings football here quick. Let's just run through the first few games, see where we're thinking, where we'll be sitting at. We got the Niners on Sunday. Jimmy G, first full year with the Niners. See how that works out for them. You know, you looked at that Niners roster. It's they're looking halfway decent. You know, it's a lot of guys that were pretty good 5 years ago on that squad, but fun to see. Vikings D ranked number 1, I think.
Projected to be 1 or 2, probably.
Yes, sir.
Them in Jacksonville.
So I think we come on with the win here, huh, boys?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
Yeah,
the 49ers were dead in the water last year until Garoppolo showed up, and he willed them to a few wins at the end of the season against,
He's
I
good.
think, some subpar teams.
Yeah,
He
pretty
helps their
decent.
chances. They improved their defense. They made a couple additions, I think, across their defense. I heard some discussion this morning. The front four seems to be pretty stout, but
Losing Jet will hurt.
yeah.
Yes.
21-10 Vikings.
John, prediction? Score prediction?
We're at home. We all know how loud our crowds can get. Everybody's healthy on defense for right now. They're going to pin their ears back. This is not the same San Francisco 49ers offensive line of 5 years ago where they were loaded with first-round talent. They do have some talent, but Everson and Daniil, and I'm going to guess with Georgia Iloka being a hybrid, they're going to have Anthony Barr rush the passer a little bit more. I think Jimmy G is going to be in a long day, and he's going to keep them in it, and it's going to be close. So I think it's going to be 20-17 Minnesota, but he's going to have a long day. So buckle your chin strap, Jimmy G, and he's definitely going to need a Hummer from that porn star he took on a date when he gets home. So have her on speed dial when you land.
Goddamn right.
Why not?
You have a rotary phone?
Yeah,
Nice.
old school.
Attaboy.
Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no problem. No problem. You're a new dad. Week 2, we got the Packers at Lambeau. Gonna be the first second meeting since first meeting with Aaron Rodgers since his injury. You guys think that the new Rodgers rule is gonna be a big factor in that game?
No.
I mean,
Good answer.
Insightful.
I think you've got Aaron. The whole situation with the referees and how they're gonna try and restrict how these guys tackle each other. I mean, it's just gonna be. It will impact the game, yes.
It will, but
And hopefully that they'll relax on it a little bit, and it doesn't have to.
you'll have no idea when it will. Well,
True.
You know,
Right.
it's going to happen. You know, it might be week 6. It might be week 10.
Barrero had a good take today. He said that just like when they changed the pass interference call, they really harped on it in the preseason and really called every one of them. And then once they got to the regular season, it completely lacked off, and it was a lot better. So hopefully something like that happens and they just don't go too overboard.
Yeah, the preseason was awful. It was
It was.
awful to watch.
It
It's
was.
not great.
Yep.
Then it looks like the Vikes have the Bills at home. I think with the shit show that is the Bills, that should be an easy win, 3-0.
Yeah,
Then we got the Rams. That's going to be that's away
that's fun.
night game, 9:27
I
on
love
Sunday night game.
That'll be a fun
Monday
game.
night game.
Fun.
Yep.
Should be real great. Then we got the Eagles in the rematch of the NFC Championship game.
I hate the fucking Eagles, man.
Yes, we do. I mean,
Kill that place with fire.
boom.
Screw Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see Wilbon called the Vikings fans the most rabid fans in all of sports?
Really?
And that no professional athlete, including LeBron James, has more pressure on him right now than Kirk Cousins because this fan base is so freaking bananas.
Wow.
Has he not been to the South to watch college football?
Apparently
Well,
not.
he's talking professional sports, but
Still, nope.
I thought it was interesting. And he was
a good take.
He was very
But-
matter of fact about it. He was like, I know Minnesota football fans, and they're crazy. Is basically.
Well, we are.
Where's Wilbon from?
Chicago.
Yeah.
He went to Northwestern.
Yep.
Huge Chicago fan.
Big time. Well, boys, I got to go take the hill at the local softball fields. I think you guys can take it the rest of the way. John, congrats again on the
Yeah.
baby. Derek, have fun at the game. Get PJ to give you a handshake, maybe a high
Absolutely.
five.
Yep.
Touch him. Get
Maybe-
him
maybe-
to feel good. Snap out
offer
some
him a
pictures
handy.
of the oars.
We'll row
And,
the boat together.
Hell yeah, you will. But I love it. Everybody else, take care. Love you guys. And I can't wait to hear how this ends up tomorrow.
Well,
Bye.
bye, Dave.
Bye.
Okay, so let's
So,
let's go quick before we go. You got to go to work, John, or you're on paternity leave?
I am on paternity leave.
All right.
I am
Nice.
good. I'm
Nice.
with you guys.
All right.
Like I said, I respect the segment, man.
At least somebody does.
Okay,
That's true.
let's do a quick run through of Week 1 matchups here. This is Fantasy Football podcast. I saw Dave eyeing it down on his iPad, and we just never got there. So,
Right.
so Week 1 matchups: the Heartbreak Kid, the Shadow Man, Tim Lang versus Two Girlies, One Cup. Jeff coming off his most successful season in the Busch League, and a oh-so-close runner-up finish. The line on this thing, well, I don't know what the line is because it doesn't. Oh yeah, here it is. 102.5. Looks like Jeff favored by about 4. Thoughts?
Let me pull it up here. Sorry.
I mean, Jeff's trying hard.
Jeff is, and he's dedicated to it.
Yeah, I was worried now this year would be different. Back to his old self.
Nope.
But
Oh yeah.
he's going hard.
Yep.
Is
And-
he single? Is that why?
No, see that
Did
old
you,
that
do you
old song
watch
and
when
dance.
his transactions happen?
No.
They're like 2 in the morning. All of them. It's like 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Well, he told
You
me
know-
that he gets up in the morning before because that old song and dance doesn't work anymore because he's living with his girlfriend.
Right.
So, he tells me that every morning he gets up, has his coffee, and does fantasy football every morning of the week.
I was guessing since the transactions were so early, he was done smashing with his girlfriend, so he was just on this euphoric high
They
and
live
just decided,
together
hey, I want to blow $5 right now. Who can I add and drop multiple times?
It sounds about right, but Jeff rolling with heavy hitters at the running back position, Alvin Kamara and Saquon Barkley. That should carry him here. Heartbreak Kid, don't love his team. I'm gonna take Jeff here.
I would take Jeff.
Our second matchup.
I will also take Jeff slightly.
That's
But
surprising.
I'll take him.
Will your boyfriend be mad about that?
Maybe. But
Will he
He's-
hear about it anyways?
That's true.
well, I think he's a closet listener.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think he does. He's got business out west, so he sneaks a listen in every now and then, or he just gets like the clip notes from Max when he sees him.
Oh yeah.
Gets the rundown that
Yeah.
way.
That's how we talk to Tim Lang and this, like most of us, is we
Through
talk to
Max.
Max and then Max talks.
yeah, that's true. Well, hey, I'm proud of him. He did get on Slack. That
Yeah,
right there
he
was
did.
a monumental
He did.
event when he did that,
Yeah.
because that was like, I was so certain he would just never do it.
Mhm.
But just looking at his team quickly, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's like he's got a lot of guys like Cooks and Tate. Those guys are like a lot of receptions, not a lot of yards.
Right.
He does have Zeke and Drew Brees, and if Evan Ingram can stay healthy, that's a pretty good tight end option. But like you said, Jeff's running back combo. Plus, once he gets Mark Ingram back, he's going to be tough again.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to think so. He doesn't think his wide receivers are that good.
They're not.
Which
Does
they're
he have a starting
not.
wide receiver?
I did have Emmanuel Sanders last year, and surprisingly enough, he did catch more passes, I think, at one point than Demaryius Thomas.
Maybe
So,
Case
at
gets
some-
that thing going too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Going on
So-
week 2, Soup du Jour, taking on Hughes, your daddy. Mike Hughes, your daddy.
Oh,
That's
that's
a
the
team
play
name
on
change.
words.
We got Trevor Superior, a narrow favorite by 0.2 points, 103.1 to 102.9. And Hughes, your daddy, putting a lot of eggs in the Pat Mahomes
Sure am. I feel good about him.
basket.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How come you didn't go with a Kansas City theme, just out of curiosity?
Because my team name is always a Vikings player pun.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, you're
Every
right.
year,
It has been.
new player,
I get it.
new pun.
I like it.
It's-
I'm just wondering because you went so Kansas City heavy this year. I don't think I've seen anybody do this before.
I only have
But-
3 guys.
That's a lot.
And it's probably
That's a lot.
it is in a starting lineup out of 8 starters. That's a lot. It's probably a good week for it because the Chargers' defense has historically been terrible.
Yep.
On the flip side, Trevor has Kareem Hunt. So
I hope they throw.
yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, the Chargers' defense was in the top 10 last year. What are you talking about? Historically bad.
They
Don't
are
you
historic-
do your research?
They are historically bad. It's always that's Philip Rivers'
Sean
whole.
Merriman is not walking through that door.
No, but they do have Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa coming from the outsides. It's like
That'll be fine.
it's the equivalent of Seth Joyner and Reggie White meet in the middle.
No, in all honesty, I like Matt Ryan as a quarterback. He was MVP 2 years ago. His matchup this week against Philadelphia, not good.
Tonight,
Yeah.
yeah, in the rain.
Right,
It's raining
right.
there
So
right
that's
now.
that's
so.
why Pat's in there right now.
Good choice.
John, who do you got?
God, as much as I do like Derek's team, I really like Trevor's team. It's going to be a slugfest, and it's really just going to come down. And Trevor, I'm looking at the matchups, and Derek just seems to have more guys at home, which helps. And like Devontae Freeman plays Philadelphia tonight. We were just talking about how tough their defense is. So I am actually going to go with Derek.
Thank you.
Slightly. Yeah, I just Trevor has the big names, but that doesn't matter when you're playing, Jacksonville. For example, the Giants, they got some studs, but what is that going to do when they play Jacksonville on Sunday? They might get 50 yards worth of total offense. So I like your matchups, especially the ones at home. So
It's gonna be a good matchup. I like Trevor's squad too.
Matchup number 3, Big Hoss taking on the Peppy Kids. Probably our biggest line of the week here. Peppy Kids with a 7-point advantage on the old line.
I think he deserves every single one of those points and more.
Yeah.
Phil's team, at least this week, is just significantly better than Dave's.
yes, Phil with the savvy James Conner
Yeah,
pickup.
that's a big move for him right there.
Yep.
Really is.
Yeah. Kind of mad I didn't even think of it, but it is what it is, man. He did his homework, and now he's set up. As long as Bell is out and Connor pulls the D'Angelo Hall bit, not Hall, D'Angelo Williams bit, Phil could rack up a nice cushion in that Carroll division and possibly take down Adam as and Trevor.
Yeah, perennial.
Phil hasn't won that division in a long time, has he?
No, he's
Probably
definitely
not
he's
since
due.
Aaron Andrews interviewed him about 6
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. Or was it the Susie
we gotta
Colbert
dig that up.
interview? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it's hard to tell them, keep them apart. So it sounds like we all like Phil. We've got Drew blaming on the kombucha, taking on.
Hey Matt, before we move on to that, I'm gonna stick up for Dave here because if he were here, he'd say, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
that's true. In a similar line, we've got Blame It on the Kombucha taking on Jeff Bottom Grief Top. By the way, real original, John.
I'm sorry, Matt. What was that? See, since you can be part of this joke now. You're not on bottom anymore.
Oh no, I'm not flipping over to your side after that bullshit last year.
Oh, come on. You know you want to. It's really fun.
Jeff Bottom Grief Top, a 7-point favorite.
Drew's team is historically bad.
Blame it on the kombucha. Drew probably needs to go back to
Just
dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's very fitting. Over and over again, it's going to be that way until he comes out and freaking beats somebody sometime ever.
I'm just really proud that he subbed in Thompson for Penny. For a while there, I didn't know if he's going to get around to that.
He's got some sneaky wide receivers: Keenan Allen, Diggs, and T.Y. Hilton. I think that's kind of sneaky, but
right.
Yep, sounds like we feel good about John in that one. Breaston Plants taking on the Heart Attack.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Breaston Plants taking on the Heart Attack. Heart Attack with a 4-point favorite going up against Breaston Plants. Hartman with a big wild card and Deshaun Watson. That guy would have, whoever had Deshaun Watson would have kept playing like he was playing last year and was stayed healthy. That person would have won the league.
Yep. Max would have walked away with it.
Yep. So
True story.
You get some good play out of Watson. You've got Gurley, and you've got another high upside guy in Josh Gordon.
I mean, the real story is Grieve didn't pick up John Connor.
No.
He did pick up Adrian Peterson, however.
He sure did.
I think we're gonna see what $91 and 3 picks really what really happens when you do that.
Well,
because now you put all your eggs in one basket, and now you're stuck. There's nothing he can do. His team is so terrible without Bell.
He'd be okay.
Yeah. You know what though? You got Watson against New England. Belichick probably gonna make Watson's a young guy still. Belichick will take care of that real quick. You got horsepower. Hartman's got some horsepower with Gurley, but Josh Gordon hasn't played football in 3 years. Adam Thielen had a slow preseason. I'm going with the upset. I'm going Grieve here over Hartman.
Come on, get off your Mankato man crush. Jesus.
You might have to change the name.
What is wrong with you guys? I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm picking Adam.
I'll pick Adam as well.
And in our final matchup, the Lord Commissioner taking on Team Aponte. Team Aponte is about a 6-point favorite, 6.3 points.
Said it from the beginning. I really like Max's team. Yep. I think it's really good.
Yes, I agree. This I think might be the match. Derek, would you agree? The matchup of the week.
I think it's the two strongest teams.
Yes.
Not overall, but the strongest matchup. The two best squads. Going against each other. I like Max.
Damn, Matt. What if you just had a really strong number 1 running back? What if?
Is he also trying to trade with you?
Yeah, and the last text that I had, I texted him a proposed deal, and he said interesting ... and I never heard from him again.
I also got an interesting and a good start today.
Good start.
Hey. I mean, I'm channeling my inner Jeff, throwing feelers out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not committed to anybody. This is kind of The Bachelor. I have a bunch of roses. I'm going to hand out the roses to the guys.
Yes,
I think
you're like The Bachelor, John. And
are you also a virgin?
We're all vying for your amazing players, and you're The Bachelor.
So I mean, I'm just saying, whoever can improve Jeff Bottom Grieve Top, that's who I'm going to go with. I mean, you both have very, very, very interesting interests.
We both have very good receivers, and yours suck, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they do. They're terrible. They're terrible. But I have a little bit. I have not much ammunition. I have enough to make something happen. So, stay tuned. That's all I have to say.
All right.
We have one last topic for the week. It's prop bets for tonight's game.
Indeed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
First touchdown scorer. Who you guys got?
Zach Ertz.
John?
I'm gonna go Corey Clements.
John, your money would be plus 1,100. You could definitely make some money. Zach Ertz plus
Yeah.
800.
Mm-hmm.
Only two players higher than Zach Ertz. Julio Jones at plus 7, and Devontae Freeman plus 675.
I think outside the box, Derek.
Fair enough. John, you have Zach Ertz on your squad. How many?
I do.
How many yards is he gonna get tonight?
Zach Ertz against, that's a Dan Quinn Seattle replica defense. So they have some pretty good linebackers, some fast linebackers. Zach Ertz will have 70 catches and yards.
Sure. I have them both.
Okay. Zach Ertz will have. Foles will be running for his life because he's a nervous Nelly right now. So Zach Ertz will get a lot of checkdowns, a la Jason Witten. So Zach Ertz will have 6 catches for 78 yards.
Definitely betting the over on his fantasy player. Five catches, 51 yards. That's Bovada's line right now.
Yeah, okay. I have confidence in him. Gotta have confidence in your players.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
you two like him, so that might not be out of the question. I think you guys would back me up if he was on your team.
How about Julio Jones, Matt?
Let's see. I think we see a resurgence, comeback player of the year type of deal from Julio Jones. He had all said decent numbers, just no touchdowns last year, but it came in like 2 games.
Yep.
So I'm going against that Eagles defense. I'm going big game. The line's probably like 85 or something like that.
You're very good at betting.
I'm gonna put 115 on it.
Yeah, Julio Jones, 6 catches, his line for 89 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, all over it.
As good as Philadelphia's defense was towards the end of the year, their pass defense surprisingly was ranked 17th with the same guys that they have back there tonight. So
All right.
I think Julio could run rampant, and that's all I have. Stat of the week.
Game delayed too. We're trying to find out what's going on in this thing, and they have not started yet.
It's just downpouring there
Yep.
right now.
Yep, it's pouring rain.
They're getting that storm. No, that should have went through already. I was gonna say that storm we had on Tuesday. That thing was a beast.
Well, boys, I think that pretty much wraps up everything.
That's all we got.
That it?
John, you have any final thought of the week?
I do. My final thought of the week is, if you got a chance, watch a Burt Reynolds movie. He was, as someone put it, one of the last great movie stars of our time. He passed away today at the ripe old age of 82. One of few of my favorite movies. If you didn't know already, I like auto racing, and he starred in a lot of racing movies, as well as one of my honorable mentions for a football movie, Longest Yard. The original one, not the Adam Sandler one. So if you get a minute, watch Smokey and the Bandit, watch The Longest Yard. Don't watch Deliverance. You'll regret that one right away. But his other stuff is pretty good. Like I said, he's one of the last great movie stars. He was really big in the 70s and 80s, and the man posed naked on a bearskin rug with a cowboy hat over his junk. Doesn't get more Hollywood than that. So rest in peace, Burt Reynolds.
Matt, final thought for tonight?
Yeah, for me, it's been a busy summer of chasing around, friends and family and kids and everything like that. Sunday, I know some people got into it last Saturday with the college. That wasn't me. For me, it starts this Sunday. I'm gonna plant my ass on the couch at about 11 o'clock, and I'm not gonna move until about 10:30. And it's gonna be freaking fantastic.
Agreed.
That sounds great. Good week, boys.